G'day Spurs fans, Paul the Hotspur hippie here, the only psychedelic soccer show on the internet. And I didn't know how this video was going to go until I pressed the start button, because there's a couple of things I could talk about today. One, Arsenal are out of the League Cup. Well done, Arteta. But there's something else that's been nagging at me a bit, and I'm just going to try and express myself on this subject, because I think it's important to do so. I'm not an expert in certain things, so fact check what I say, please. And from time to time, you've probably seen me on this channel or on my live streams, I do get a little bit political, because I think it's a valid thing to do. When I see sports media and football media taken over by right-wing nutcases, and you can spot a right-wing nutcase as soon as someone says, huh, it's all bloody woke these days, isn't it? You can't say nothing. And this all goes unquestioned. I say my piece as well. And one thing I've just got to say my piece about, and I know this is not going to go down well with a lot of people out there, is what's happening in Palestine and the announcement from Emperor Trump. So this is off topic. I've decided I'm doing this. It's not about football. If you don't like that, off you go. Emperor Trump, for want of a better expression, he's annexing Gaza, isn't he? He's annexing Gaza, and I cannot believe how the whole world is just standing by and watching this madness unfold in the Gaza Strip and what's been going on in the West Bank. And it's very, you know, I know what's going to happen when I do this video. People are going to accuse me of being anti-Semitic, maybe a Hamas supporter. And these are the tricks that people have done to stop people having conversations about what the bloody hell that racist, fascist government of Israel has been doing for decades over there. Not just to Palestinians, but to Jews as well. Does everyone forget the time where Ethiopian Jewish women moved to Israel and the Israeli government gave them birth control without their consent to stop them having children? I mean, oh my Lord. And I know out there in the Spursosphere, there is a bit of pro-Israel feeling, and it has not been very subtle at times. So I'm going to just use my right to express the opposite opinion, opposite opinion. And I can see how we get here, you know. It's fascinating to me, like, as now I'm 52, how I grew up, what seems like now, not long after the end of World War II and the end of the British Empire. And there was a feel, you know, that must never happen again. And maybe the empire wasn't, you know, maybe we did some things wrong when we did the empire. There's always a reason for colonisation and conquest. You have to have a reason to sell, to persuade to the people, because people just don't like that sort of stuff. They don't. I firmly believe people are good-natured. And the only way you can go along and get carried away with genocide is if you're given a compelling reason and you're brainwashed. It's happened to people in Britain, you know. We'll go out and civilise the world. And to me, this is what Israel is. It's got nothing to do with Judaism. It's just Western colonisation, Western, you know, invasion. And, you know, I hear things like, you know, the Jews returning to Israel and all that. And to me, that just sounds downright anti-Semitic. And it's part of how we got here, is that for centuries, people of the Jewish faith were living in Britain, France, Germany, Poland, America, wherever you want. And they were never seen by us as British, Polish, German, French, American. They were seen as Jews, anti-Semitic, pogroms all over Europe, Jews being persecuted, not being able to settle, ending up in the tragedy of the Holocaust, where, to my knowledge, 6 million were killed. And we're seeing it, you know, we're seeing things like this unfold again. We're seeing things like this unfold again in the world, and it horrifies me. that we just turn a blind eye to this thing. There's 2 million people in the Gaza Strip. Trump has said that he's going to rebuild it. And, you know, let's just go back to the Holocaust for a second. It didn't just happen suddenly. The Nazi party didn't just wake up and say, let's build concentration camps and exterminate all the Jews. That's not what happened. They were pogroms and, you know, a lot of violence enacted on them. But what the idea was going to be was they're going to move them somewhere else. Just a polite, you know, nice little relocation. The first place they chose, I believe, was Madagascar. But the war didn't go so well for Germany down there, so they couldn't do that. And then they thought, all right, Russia. We'll send them over to Russia. Oh, bugger. And then, I suppose, as more died, Jewish people died in German prisons and concentration camps, and the cost was too much. People die here, people die there. They're dying anyway. And they went into the most abhorrent plan of action that you can imagine. So this is how things start, like genocides. It often starts with promises of relocation. We're seeing this in America at the moment, where people are being rounded up based on their off-white colour of skin. This is what's happening over there at the moment. The government over there has said they've increased the targets for arrests by tenfold. Are you telling me that corners aren't going to be cut? That everyone is going to get a fair hearing? That if you just don't happen to have your papers on, you'll be returned home safely? And what's going to happen when they start gathering these apparently 20 million people up and they've got nowhere to go? I'm not saying it's a Holocaust in the making, but it's definitely one step further. A few more steps further is the situation in Gaza. 2 million people living, I don't know how anyone survives there. For years they've had their calories controlled by the Israeli government to keep them weak. They've had their children shot in the legs to stop them of being any use to Hamas when they grow up. And the world just blindly does nothing, partly out of guilt, because we were I can't even find a word to describe it, abhorrent to Jewish people. And so now, maybe there's a bit of guilt, but there's an awful lot of Western power in there that wants a foothold in the region. And the reason we've been given as people to suck it up is that Jewish people need a place to live, and it was given to them by God 6,000 years ago. And that seems to be something we've bought. We've bought. If you speak to the contrary, you're labelled a terrorist. Do you condemn Hamas? We've gone way past that, man. We're way past that. 1,200 casualties on October the 7th, was it? Over a year ago. 62,000 Palestinians missing and dead. 17,000 children. Children. You know, that's like the South Stand at Tottenham, full of children gone. And I don't know where I'm going with this. I don't know where I'm going. I know it's going to piss a lot of people off, because I've heard of instances where where Spurs fans have broached this subject, and there's been a lot of finger wagging. There's been people told to do certain things as well. But luckily I'm not involved with all that, so I'm just going to say my piece. And I think that the Israeli government is a disgusting regime. Not Jews, nothing like that. The Israeli government. And I've given you a couple of reasons how they treat their own people as to why I think that. And my heart goes out to the Palestinians in there. You know, and people forget about the West Bank, what's been happening there. But hey, look, Trump's going to build a new beach resort on the graves of tens of thousands of people. I'm sure that's been done before in the world. In fact, it's been done in Australia. What am I talking about? Rottnest Island, holiday resort, former concentration camp for Aboriginal people. But, you know, enjoy your barbecue, folks. I just scratched my head. You know, there was one glimmer of good news I saw this morning, which was astronomers reckon there is an asteroid that in 7 years' time will have a 1 in 63 chance of wiping out planet Earth. the way we're going, man, it's good news to me. You've got, I mean, no one's standing up to Trump. People are making excuses about Elon Musk doing a Sieg Heil Nazi salute. All the, you know, this whole right-wing, alt-right stuff, it was gone, man, it was gone. Until the bloody internet came along and these idiots started getting together, being edgy, making fun of, I mean, there was a lot of, there's still a lot of anti-Semitic stuff out, making fun of Jews, making Nazi because he's edgelordy. It's just lols though, it's just lols. Well, it looks like you've got the most powerful government in the world now, so so much for the lols. I don't know, man. You know, I used to grow up, you know, when we were at school, and you learn a bit about history through the lens of the British government's education system. But you sit there and you think, how the hell did Hitler rise to power? You know, people voted for him, you know? It just seemed weird. Weird. How can that ever possibly happen? We're not quite there yet, but we're very close. Well, we are there in Israel, make no doubt. There is a genocide going on there. And that's not just me. That's the ICC and ICJ saying that. Not just me. Genocide. Torture. Dehumanisation. That's what you got to do. You can't get people to kill people until they're dehumanised, because it's not in our nature to do so. So you have to call them beasts, animals, whatever. So there's me, like, how the fuck did this happen in Germany, you know? And now I get older and, oh, okay. Oh, so that's how it happens. People just stand by, maybe do a bit of a Neville Chamberlain. You can't bargain with these people. You can't negotiate with the likes of Benjamin Netanyahu and Trump, Elon Musk. Fuck me. This is why, you know, it's what happens when you let the rich get super rich. They really do show you their true colours, and there's many of you out there still kissing their ass and just lapping it all up, thinking that, oh, if I'm really good, if I stick up with these people, I'll get a seat at the table. You won't. So I'm pretty dismayed at the world, you know, pretty dismayed at the world. And now we're just watching the slaughter of children. Don't matter. Don't matter, Jews need a place to live, so, you know, it doesn't make sense to me. It really doesn't make sense. You know, I mean, don't get me started on Islamophobia and racism, and oh my God, this, I'm telling you, this was finished. I was having a chat to a mate of mine the other week. Like in the late 80s into the 90s, this shit was on the way out. It really was. Like if someone said something racist or something, there wasn't enough of them in one place to do any damage. Like the BNP, the British National Party, were a joke. The EDL, I mean, they got a bit stronger. It's the internet has brought this up together, and through humour and lols, and people just trying to be, oh, I'm just trying to piss off the leftists by doing a Nazi salute. Well, we end up with fucking Nazis, don't you? That's what we got. We got fascists, Nazis, people turning a blind eye to atrocities. Fuck it all, man. Anyway, I know that ain't going to go down well with people, but you know, when I see politicism, I feel that I've got the right to say it as well. So there's many subtle and there's many implicit and explicit things that people say and do on the internet, and I ain't turning a blind eye. Now, I'm not going to keep going on about this. I just wanted to get it off my chest, get it out there, just say fucking something in this mad world. Till next time, folks, peace and love, and come on you Spurs.